back together again. The only guy on screen right now, my name is Greg Rakestraw, but we get to have coaches and players back with us. It is the third Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special that we are doing on the ISC Sports Network. 2 summers ago, we had coaches and players representing 9 different schools be a part of the program. Last year, well, the entire world was on Zoom in 2020, so we talked to coaches from across the state of Indiana. We are back to being together in person. We're at the Kokomo Downtown YMCA on Union Street, and our good friend Brandon Bishop and the folks at Coca-Cola of Kokomo have put it together. We can talk to 10 different schools, some just coaches, others both coaches and players, and preview the upcoming high school football season ranging from Class 1A through 5A, schools representing the following counties: Howard, Tipton, Miami, and Cass. And it's all made possible by the good folks at Coca-Cola of Kokomo, who have been your local Coca-Cola bottler since 1907. We'll lead things off with the Trojans of Tri-Central and their head coach, Shane Arnold. That comes your way next here on the ISC Sports Network. McCullingham time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is caught.
There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
That is
Wrestler! Whoa!
Welcome back on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special. My name is Greg Rakestraw. I happen to be joined by a gentleman that has now joined us on this program for each of the last 3 seasons, entering his 4th season as the man in charge of Tri-Central football. It is Shane Arnold. Coach, it is always good to see you, and I know that the hope is like this year, from a normalcy standpoint, it's a lot more like a couple of years ago.
Yes,
what
sir.
has this summer been like leading into the upcoming season?
It's been good. Kids' work ethic, they've been excited to get out and get started with a little more normalcy. Our school and administration has done a great job through the pandemic of keeping everybody safe and doing the best they could of keeping the spread down, and it's with things kind of opening up and getting back, our kids are excited. Attendance has been great. Weight room numbers are up. Core days are up. And then open field numbers have been phenomenal. So excited.
One of the things when we talk about 1A and 2A football is just what you dropped, numbers. How many kids you expect on the varsity or in the program in total this year?
We graduated probably one of the bigger classes last year. We only have 4 seniors out this year. We're probably looking at about 32 to 35 kids. Our 8th grade class that's coming in next year should have about 18, 19 kids. So we're just in that. At 1A, you ride that roller coaster. You graduate a bunch. If you don't get that number back, you wait a couple years till you fill it. So,
well, we look back at last year, obviously from the trials and tribulations of what you had to do from a COVID-19 standpoint. Once you got to the field, it was a very solid season, 7-4. Your overall reflections on how your team played a year ago?
I was extremely happy with the kids. We had great senior leadership. A bunch of those kids were there and was with me when I took over and the changes we made, and they laid a great foundation for us on helping build the program in my vision. Coach Gilbert had it at a phenomenal place, and we just kind of made some tweaks, certain things. Every head coach tries to make it their own, and that senior group helped me change just a few things, and you could see it on the field that it really paid off. Those kids did a great job, and just excited where we're headed.
All right, tell me about the 4-man senior class. If you don't remember all their names, that's a problem. Just 4 of them. Tell me about the 4 seniors you got this year.
Yeah, Ross Cassidy, Luke Martin, Caden Leininger, Cody Brewster, all great young men, have been with me all 4 years. Just incredible work ethics. They lead me in the weight room. They lead me on core days. They're my captains on open fields. They are what we want at Tri-Central. They lead by example. They are great in the classroom. They represent the program well in the community, and they get in the room and they work. They're not those kids that do what I say. They get up there and show and do it themselves. And the thing I think that separates this class from probably any other, they're taking a page from last year's senior group, is when we're in the weight room and we're working, or at core days, we have a lot of younger kids. So we have middle school and grade school kids. This group here does a great job of seeing them work with these young kids, teach them the right technique, teach them the right way to do it, and always representing themselves, our community, and their parents with the utmost class and respect. So I'm really excited for this group. It's a small group, but I think they bring a lot more to the table than just their small number.
All right, so with that, what are your expectations for the year? What are some of the goals you're setting for this club here in 2021?
Well, we made some changes this year offensively. We're going to do some different things, try to get back to being a little more physical. I think we lost our physicality the last couple of years. This group has, when we met in the off season and they kind of sit down and told me their goals and what they wanted to do with the program, I agreed. And the number one priority is we want to be more physical. We want to compete for the conference. We want to have a winning season, and we want to win another sectional game. Very tough sectional, but I think with this group of seniors leading us, the sky's the limit. So our whole goal is to be better every day we take the field.
Shane, it is always a pleasure to hang out with you, buddy. Best of luck this season, and thanks for the time. And thanks for bringing 75% of your senior class
yes, sir.
to today's get-together.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We truly appreciate it.
We're going to talk to those three seniors for the Trojans when we come back. And, of course, our show today is presented by our friends at Coca-Cola of Kokomo. They've been a part of the local community since 1907, and they are proud to hydrate the Trojans both on the field and in the classroom. Talking more about Tri-Central football when we come back on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network. Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com. Welcome back on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special here on the ISC Sports Network, and we're now thrilled to be joined by three members of the four-man senior class at Tri-Central this year. To my left, it is Caden Loniger. To my right, it is Luke Martin and Ross Cassidy. Fellas, thank you so much for joining us. Caden, I will start with you. What's it like knowing this is getting ready to be your senior year of football at Tri-Central?
It's really surprising. I didn't really expect, being a senior. It's like yesterday I thought I was a freshman. But, just going to go out, have a really good year, try to play my hardest, do everything I can for my team, and go out the way, I want it to.
Luke, kind of the same question for you. Just thoughts about getting here to this your senior year of high school football.
Right there with Caden. Just a shock that it's going to be my last year playing high school football. It just came really fast, and I'm going to play for my team and get the best out of this year. And yeah, it's just a shock to be a senior already. All
right, Ross, I'm going to throw you a curveball since you knew the first two questions were coming. Being part of a four-man senior group, what's that like for you?
Well, it's really no different for me, at least. We've always had a small class. We had, I think the most we ever had going through middle school and high school might have been maybe 8 of us. But, all 4 of us play big roles on this team coming up, and I think it definitely doesn't give us a disadvantage.
Luke, last year in the offseason was so strange for you guys because you wasn't sure if you're going to be able to have a season. You did workouts differently. We've all used the word normal way too much the last couple of years, but what has it felt having workouts kind of like the old days this summer?
Good. Feels like we're finally back on a normal football schedule, and it'll make the team a lot better and be more prepared for next year.
Ross, same question for you. Again, I'm not sure anybody really loves going in and working out, but not having that opportunity last year, what has those workouts been like for you this offseason?
I think everything that we've done this offseason has been pretty good with we did some 11-on-11s and just some normal practices and open fields and stuff. And I think the big reflection in this season is going to be our conditioning this year, because the start of last year, you could tell we were kind of flat because we didn't have a lot of time to work out in the summer. But now that we've had that time, I think we'll be better conditioned for the season coming up.
All right, Caden, let me get to you. Let's kind of look forward now. Obviously, you've had workouts as we're having this conversation. Practice for real starts next week. I would assume you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, being a senior, having to be a leader, gonna have to teach some young guys, because with our short class, we should be able to lead our, where our positions are and everything. So basically, our role is just to take part of being a leader.
All right, Ross, when it comes to, such a small senior class and kind of in the program in total, somewhere in the mid-30s in terms of numbers, that means the freshmen and sophomores have to contribute right away. I guess just your thoughts about that and the role that you guys take in kind of leading and making sure they're as ready to go as they can be.
Well, so the big thing with me is because I try to help especially the linemen. I try to help them when they're younger, especially try to get to their positions, do it correctly and everything. And to be honest, I think having so many young kids play an actual part in the varsity program is not a bad thing by any means, because if anything, I've been working out with these guys just as much as I've been working out with 3 seniors in my class, so I trust them just as much as the seniors to get it done like anybody else would.
I guess I should, and this is for any of you, since 3 of the seniors, where's the 4th senior? What's he doing today? Why couldn't he be here?
He's working.
He's working, okay. A perfectly good excuse. We understand that. Luke, what's going to make this a good senior season for you?
Just to go out and have fun. Try to win. It'll be tough. We're young. And just everybody understand that you have to put it all in to actually win.
Ross, same thing for you. What's going to make this a good fall for you and your teammates?
So I think the biggest thing going into this season needs to be our stamina, and that's more all dexterity overall, because I don't think it's even necessarily how much we can physically put out, but there's a mental edge that we need to have this year as a team, because maybe we might start some games down. We need to be able to recover from that, or if we get ahead in tough games, we have to be able to keep going.
All right, so Caden, does he often use dexterity in a regular conversation, or is he showing off for the cameras?
I think he's showing off for the cameras.
He's doing a fantastic job. Same question for you. What are some of the goals you've set for the upcoming year?
Just have a better season than last year. That's always the goal, is to be better than the year before. And having everyone, the younger guys come in and play their part, and just teach them to step up, because last year we lost a lot of seniors. Them young guys have to come in and step in those roles, then play those, positions. So
Caden Loniger, Luke Martin, Ross Cassidy, fellas, a pleasure. You guys open up with Madison Grant coming up on August the 20th. Best of luck in that game, and best of luck all season. Thanks for joining us. Again, this is the 3 of the 4 seniors from Tri-Central High School. Stick around and stay tuned. The Wildkats of Kokomo will be joining us next, as again, you are watching the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Shot at the buzzer. Got it! She got it! Oh, my goodness, what a shot!
Brady, hello,
Did it again.
hello.
Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor, and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello! There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow. This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
Welcome back on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special here on the ISC Sports Network. I am Greg Rakestraw. To my left, it is the man that is in his second year as the head coach of the Kokomo Wildcats, but way more than his second year at the program, Austin Colby. And to my right, wearing number 4, this is Evan Barker, and to Shai Stewart wearing number 21. Fellas, thanks for joining us. And Coach, I'll start with you. Yep. Again, year number 2
Absolutely.
Now in charge of the Wildcats, following in Dad's footsteps. What is that like to still hear head coach of the Kokomo Wildcats in front and after your name?
Yeah, it's special. It's it's what I've always wanted to do, and to be able to do it at your alma mater is a great thing, and to follow in Dad's footsteps also is a really neat thing, and just happy to be a part of the program, and hopefully we can bring it back to life a little bit this year.
All right, so with that, everything was so strange, was so odd in the way things played out last year.
Yeah.
I guess what are the life lessons and even football lessons you take from at least being able to take the field a season ago?
Yeah, never take your preparation for granted, because we went in multiple games last year very underprepared, and it showed, and we were young in a sense where we were putting a whole brand new system back in, and so we struggled, and we did a good job of winning the games I think we should have won. We had one that in Marion we dropped real close 6-7, and just kind of had a rough night offensively that night, but hoping we can get past those woes this year and looking to put some points on the board and having a good year.
You, again, got to have the offseason you wanted to have last year, this year, in terms of access and time and facilities, et cetera. What have these summer months been like for you in the program?
Yeah, it's been great. We've had, pretty good numbers all summer, I would say. I'm looking forward to Monday, August 2nd, the first day. And luckily, we actually start school, so no rides will be an issue, and everybody will be there. So, they've been crucial to our success. We took advantage of a little bit of the off-season stuff back in April and May that the IHSA allows you to have now with some of our offensive linemen, because we're going to be so young up front, getting those guys caught up to speed quickly before we even were able to get together as a team this summer. So we've prepared, and we're only 99% ahead of where we were last summer. So just looking forward to it.
We talked to a couple of the young men you brought with us today. Let's talk to Evan first. Evan, just your thoughts on this. You're getting to put that jersey on with pads here in a few weeks, just the season almost being here.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to football for a year now.
Tashai, what are your expectations for the upcoming year?
I expect us to be very great this year. I know last year was very hard for us, but we should come out first game very prepared.
When it comes to, Kokomo football, the success this program has had in the recent past, just your thoughts as to kind of how you get back to that point that this program was only, say, 3 or 4 years ago.
I think just coming together as a team and forming that bond, I think that will be great when we start doing that.
Tashai, same question for you. Obviously, you said, hey, our expectations is going to be a great year. How do you take those steps to get to that point?
First, we got to come together as a team. Chemistry is the most important thing that we need. And then every time we go there, we got the talent. We got everything we need.
All right, so, Coach, tell me about these two young men and the roles they'll play for your program this year.
Yeah, so we'll start with Evan. He's going to he'll be his second year starting at quarterback for the Wildkats. He'll be a junior, and he will also start on the defensive side of the ball at our middle linebacker. And that combination doesn't happen very often when a quarterback and Mike linebacker. And, you tell that to other coaches. I was up at my Uncle John's house, who's the head coach at Winnemac and has coached forever. And I told him, he's asking about our guys. And I told him, we got a quarterback, Mike linebacker. And he said, you got to love that. It just doesn't happen very often. So, especially at the 5A level. So, I'm excited about that. And then Tashai, he'll be now a 4-year starter. He'll be a senior. He'll start at our strong safety on defense and help align everybody on the defensive side of the ball. And then he'll also start at our right wing on offense. So both of them are two-way players, and they'll be our only two-way players to start the year. Hopefully we don't have any injuries and we don't get bit with that bug this year. But, to have two guys going both ways is special. And then, we have 20 other starters. So these guys are going to be key players for us this year.
All right, so Evan, let's start with that. Again, a lot of quarterbacks, when the other team has the ball, at least at, say, the 4A, 5A, 6A level, are kind of over talking with the quarterback coach or the offensive coordinator. You don't get that luxury. What's it like being out there for almost every snap during the course of a game?
Oh, I love it. I love playing the game of football and just being able to do it on both sides and just get out there with both sides and be able to help the team.
A lot of times we will talk about a quarterback that is an active runner and kind of gets that shoulder lean as having a linebacker's mentality. I see the smile on your face. I see that's kind of how you approach it too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Tashai, same question for you. Being able to play on both sides of the football. How are you feeling after a game on a Friday night?
Probably the first 2 weeks I'll be very, very sore. But once the season gets going, I'll be fine.
Do you have a preferred side of the football, offense or defense? And I won't Coach not going to get mad if you give an honest answer. It's okay.
Defense.
Defense.
There you go.
Yes. Get to hit people more often.
Yes.
All right, take some of that body armor with you. You'll be fine. Right. What are some of the goals and expectations you have for this group this year, Coach?
Yeah, we'd like to compete for a conference championship this year. I think it's definitely in our cards. Obviously, Jeff and Harrison are going to return a lot of guys and are going to be good teams in our conference. But I think, we've had a great offseason, had a full year to get everybody. And we got, like I said, Tashai and a couple other guys are 4-year starters that are seniors, and they've taken their lumps. And, we got a great junior class behind them and some good offensive linemen that I think can develop along the way throughout the year. And, hopefully, obviously, by the time we get through conference play, we're still healthy and we can, make a decent run in the tournament. I know we have obviously the returning state runner-up in Zionsville in our sectional, and then Harrison again and McCutcheon again, who we will see in the conference, and Anderson. So, it's not going to be an easy road, but I think we got guys, and I think they kind of understand what it's going to take to win at that level and to win at that time of the year, and they know that's a special time of the year and when you want to be playing your best football.
You are not the only coach that we're going to have in this conversation that would have what would be classified as a rivalry game right out of the chute. Yeah. And again, you and Western haven't played that often,
right?
But your next door neighbors, your rivals in virtually every sport. I know they got you last year too.
Yep.
So having somebody that you can get fired up for in week one, what does that mean for you and your guys?
Yeah, it's a big, easy way to come to practice and get guys excited to come to practice. But you don't want to put all your eggs in that one basket, especially at the beginning of the year, because you don't want to peak that early.
Sure.
So, it's definitely a game that we want to get this year. Obviously, last year, just being, with the pandemic and stuff like that, we just felt like we were a little underprepared. But hopefully, this year with the full summer and we can go out and it'll be a great crowd, and it'll obviously be hosted at Walter Cross Stadium again, and it'll be a fun atmosphere.
Do you guys recognize how cool your home stadium is?
Oh, I love it.
How great of facilities you guys have at Kokomo. Final questions for you guys. Evan, again, same thing I asked Coach. What's going to make this a good year for you?
Well, I just think everybody being experienced. Everybody's coming back that we need back, and I think we have the pieces to go and make a run.
Tashai, same question for you. What's going to make this fall a good one for you and your teammates?
Chemistry. Just chemistry, bonding.
Get along is going to be Tashai's key when practice officially gets underway next week. Fellas, thank you so much for the time.
Thanks for
having us.
Best
of luck to the Cats all fall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, this is your preview for the young man and the head coach from Kokomo High School. We're talking about the Cass Kings when we come back. One more time, thanks to our friends at Coca-Cola of Kokomo. Again, they've been your local Coca-Cola bottler since 1907, and they are proud to hydrate the Wildkats both in the classroom and on the field. More good stuff comes your way next, right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Oh my God! We are ripping fast today. And how hard can it be, right? These are now selling for about $3,500. So we're back to our old ways of pulling rocks.
Act like idiots on camera, open cards, and talk about the hobby.
Welcome back. It is the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special here on the ISC Sports Network. Thank you so much. The Downtown Y in Kokomo on Union Street serving as our home for today's festivities. We are now joined by, well, kind of like the coach that was just with us in Austin Colby, a guy that literally grew up around the football program that he is now the head coach of. It is Clay Mannering in his second season as the head coach of the Lewis Cass Kings. Clay, it's good to see you. How you doing?
Doing outstanding. Good to be here, and yeah, it's fun listening to Coach Colby talk. We're having a very similar experience right now and doing some really cool things.
I know, again, last year you get the job, and things were so hamstrung in terms of the amount of time you could spend with the guys, and it came at the absolute worst possible time for your program because you were so young after a wonderful senior class the year before. What has this offseason been like for you?
This offseason's been enormous. Going through our roster, I hadn't really sat down and thought about it, but we've only got one guy on our roster who was a varsity player the last time we had an offseason.
Wow.
And so the rest of the guys, not only were they not, lifting the way we'd like them to because they couldn't, but they didn't get to see anybody do that either. And so this has been enormous to be back in the weight room especially and teaching the guys again. And for me, getting a chance to, I know everybody on my roster right now. Last year at this time, I did not. So it's been huge.
Yeah. People from the outside looking in will look at a record in 2-8 and go, man, that wasn't a good season. Mm-hmm. Especially when coaches know how young you're going to be going in, you view those victories differently. So when you look back at last year, where were the victories that you saw for your program?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you put it that way because that's how I've been putting it too. Is we had a lot of wins last year. We only beat 2 other teams, but we had a bunch of victories, just little things like able to get everybody eligible. We don't have a single ineligible player on the team this year that we're counting on. And, getting them to sign up for weights class and, getting them to understand, this is how you have to practice. And so we made tremendous strides last year. And I think the best example of that was a loss. We played Hamilton Heights. We're within a touchdown in the fourth quarter. They won our side of the league. And so that was, a moment where in the locker room afterwards I said, you don't celebrate a loss, certainly, but there were a lot of good things that came out of that game and came out of last season.
Well, again, you play in the Hoosier Conference, and your conference foes, Northwestern, Western, Hamilton Heights, Tipton. That's just in your division. The crossover folks said, hey, let's give these guys West Lafayette. And Shane Fry's team is fantastic every year.
Yep.
And, there's that other tremendous team in the northern part of the county that is now in the same classification as you.
Right.
You get Pioneer out of the chute. Just your thoughts about the schedule you've got coming up.
Yeah, I probably should have taken a look at the schedule before I took the job. It's when I played the old MIC, we took the 4 best football teams from that, sprinkle in Tipton and Rensselaer and West Lafayette and LCC, and so it is a tremendous conference zone. It's a conference that once we get really competitive, we will be set up very well for the 2A tournament. And so right now, I think our kids are so young, they don't quite understand how good a conference it is. But it's really going to pay dividends in the future, I think.
I know. You took the time to make sure you had some guys you can mention those notes.
Yeah.
Tell me about the kids you expect to be big contributors for you this year.
We have a very small senior class and a very inexperienced one at that. But the 3 seniors we're going to be leaning on are Luke Davis. He's going to play running back and linebacker for us. Eric Hardy is the one guy I mentioned that was kind of in the mix the last time we had a real offseason as a sophomore. And then Braden Clark is a kid who has never played a sport before last July. Big kid, came out, and he's now our strongest guy on the team. So I'm really pleased with how far he's come. Wish I would have had him longer.
Sure.
But after that, we've got some juniors and sophomores that are really going to have big roles. And the guy who's had the best offseason by far is Eddie Prince. He's going to line up at tight end for us and play defensive line. He was a starter last year. Hayden McLean and Brayton Hensley were all conference players a year ago, so as sophomores, and I'm hoping they take the next step as juniors. And then Luke Chambers, a good basketball player at Cass, and he's going to be on the offensive line and defensive line, and expect big things out of him. And then we will be starting several sophomores this year. So LJ Hillis will take the reins at quarterback. I'm very, very excited about his future. And Cooper Fry will start at fullback and probably linebacker. Eli Martin's another one of those. And so anytime you have a young team, you're going to get better, but we are in a race. It's how fast can we get better, and hopefully we can do it quick enough to win a few games.
All right, so there's this other Mannering in the family that kind of knows what it's like to win a lot of football games at Lewis Cass. How much are you talking football with him? How much is he simply talking grandkids with you?
So if he had his choice, we'd only talk grandkids. He's always been
that makes him a good granddad.
Absolutely right. And so he was the same way when I played in high school. But he's been invaluable to me because I will go to him at the end of a long night and say, how would you do this? And he's always there with those answers. And it's also incredible. His confidence has gone way up since he was the head coach. He never knew how we were going to win a game, and now he's pretty sure that we got a chance in all of them. So it's been fun.
It's amazing how that works.
It is.
All right, final thing before we let you go, what's going to make this fall a good year for you and the Kings?
This fall is going to be a good year, period. Anytime you have a young team, it's really gratifying to see the growth. And I know we're going to grow, and so this is a coaching line, but I'm really not concerned with wins and losses right now. I'm concerned about how do we get better? How do these sophomores take that next step? And so I think it's been a success already. I'm excited. Our coaching staff's excited, and we're going to keep building what we've started.
Clay, as always, thanks for the time, buddy.
Yep,
Good
thanks
luck
a lot.
this year.
You bet.
Again, Clay Mannering, he's the head coach of the Lewis Cass Kings. And again, our program today is presented by our friends at Coca-Cola of Kokomo. They are proud to keep the Kings hydrated both in the classroom and on the field. And Coca-Cola of Kokomo has been your local bottler since 1907. We're going to talk about the Northwestern Tigers when we come back as you're watching the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is caught.
There you
go.
go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
feel a little momentum starting to fall Lynn's way.
Wrestler! Wrestler! Whoa!
Welcome back on the ISC Sports Network. Thanks to our buddy Brandon Bishop and the good folks at Coca-Cola of Kokomo for presenting our 3rd annual Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special. We are now joined by the Northwestern Tigers, their head coach and Rob Padgett to my left. From a player perspective, we are joined by Jacob Solomon to my immediate right and Amarion Conyers again at the far end of the table. Coach, we will start with you. First of all, it is good to have you back as a high school football head coach in the state of Indiana. For those that don't know, tell us kind of how long you've been away and what brought you back to the position.
Well, I've taken a long path. I actually grew up here in Howard County, went to Eastern High School. So hopefully that doesn't make the people in purple a little bit less like me, a little bit less. But I started coaching years ago at Sheridan High School for Coach Wright. Then I got an opportunity to move up to North Central High School in Indianapolis, where I was an assistant coach and kind of learned more football and got better. And then I took a head football job at Edgewood High School down by Bloomington. And then 2 years after that, we decided we wanted to get back to the Indianapolis area, my wife and I I took the head football job at Indianapolis Arlington. And I loved that job. But I was there for 7 years. But they got to the point where IPS started taking kids out of the school and tearing it down. And we had built the program up, and then they took 1,000 kids out of the building. And so we were playing 5A football, which 5A was the top back then.
Right.
And we were playing it with 600 kids. And I just decided it was probably time to get out of there. Jake Gilbert then took the job at Westfield, where I actually lived at the time. And I saw it as an opportunity to go work with him and try to rebuild a program there. And I was going to get to coach my son, who was a really good high school football player. And so I stayed there. And then last year I was going to take a year off. And then Scott Turnquist at Zionsville asked me to come help. So I went to Zionsville, and I'm pretty lucky. I've gotten a lot of rings from all those guys. Yeah. So I've been fortunate enough to coach in 4 state championship games. I'd like to think I had a little something to do with it, but I've coached for some really good head football coaches. And then this past winter, to be honest, I had no ambitions of being a head football coach yet. My goal was to go coach high school football and go watch my son play on Saturdays. He plays at St. Francis University. And I got some people calling me from Northwestern asking me to apply. And so I applied, and they offered me the job. And I'm like, okay, what now do I do? And then I met the kids. You know what? The kids are what really sold me on the program. These kids are hungry. They want to work hard. They've been awesome so far, and at the end of the day, they're going to be the catalyst to turn this thing around. So I'm really excited that I got this opportunity, and I think we got a lot of work to do, but I think Northwestern has some good things in our future.
Again, it's not like you've been away, but at the same time, it's been a decade since you have been a high school football head coach. Does kind of sliding over one chair, however you want to describe it, does it feel that different to you?
I've been lucky enough that I've been in some really big programs. Yeah. And I guess because I'm an old guy now that I was given a lot of responsibility. The one thing I didn't have to deal with was phone calls and all that extra stuff, so that's kind of coming back to me. And the other thing that I always said was that as an assistant coach, I always slept a little better than the head coach on Friday nights. It's not that you don't care, but it's just not the same because it's not your name in the paper. So it's going to be my name in the paper again, but none of this is about me. This is about Northwestern football and these kids. And we're working hard to try to turn this thing around.
Let's talk to the players here for the next couple of moments. Jacob, we'll start with you. What's it been like playing for Coach Padgett so far?
It's been awesome. It's been a real change from what we really had around us. He came, he met us, and he told us he was staying, which was nice. We haven't had a lot of coaches stay recently. They come and go, but he seems like he's going to be the one to take us there.
Marion, same question for you. What's it been like playing for Coach Patchett to this point?
It's been great, actually. It's been really good. He's made all of us better. He's changed how we think, how we come in, our mentality, how we play football. So
obviously for you guys, and again, Coach wasn't around last summer when we went through this, but you didn't get to work out the way you wanted to, or build the way you normally would for a season. What was last summer like for you guys heading into the fall?
Well, last summer we didn't do nothing. We did like Zoom workouts.
Right.
That was about it.
So what has this summer then been like for you guys?
It's been a real change. We've been there basically every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Worked out all day, every day.
I don't know if all day is quite accurate, but
by their standards, yes.
All day.
Yes.
How have these guys been as far as leaders for you, Rob?
You know what? Amarion was a basketball player too, and he ran track, so he wasn't around from the beginning. But he was around when he could be, which was awesome. But Jacob's been there from the first day that I got there, and Jacob's done an awesome job. Just kind of taking a role as a leader. If I need somebody to stretch everybody out, Jacob does it. I'm kind of like that commercial on TV, don't become your parents. Well, when it comes to technology, I become my parents. So Jacob's kind of become my technology director as well. Fixes all my stuff on my phone and all that kind of stuff. They kind of laugh at me because I don't know how to do anything on the phone. So, but these guys have been awesome. Actually, all our kids have been awesome, and they're buying into what I'm selling. And we're not going to be scared to try things. We're not going to be scared to lose. We're not going to be scared. We're going to go after it. I tell them we're going to live life in attack mode. And attack doesn't mean you're always going to win, but attack means that we're not going to back down. And I want that lesson to go throughout their life, because to be honest with you, I love my English teachers and my math teachers, but most of the lessons I learned in sports are the lessons I use most often in my life about how not to quit. And once you get defeated at something, you got to fight back. You keep working. And that's what sports are about, and that's what I'm trying to teach these kids. We're not going to be scared. We're not going to get yelled at and screamed at when we make mistakes. I want them to live a life where they're in attack mode, whether it be on the football field, whether it be in math class, whether it be in drama club, whatever it is they pursue. I want them to be in attack mode. I'm
going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask the same question to these two guys first. Obviously, the last 3 years, there have not been a lot of wins for the Tigers, and I can see the look on your face. You're like, yeah, I know, and I'm heading out to change that as we speak. So what's going to make this a good season for you?
Just having a new coach. He really cares, and I don't know, his coaching is way different from what we've really learned, so it's hard for us to learn everything new. But I feel like once we learn everything and get it down, like we're doing every single day, then we'll be fine.
Marion, same question for you. What's going to make this a successful fall on the football field for you?
When we come out on the football field knowing that, changing our mentality, knowing that we are like the baddest people on the field, thinking that, knowing that we're going to win, not lose, and putting us in our coach putting us in a good position to win the game.
All right, so your thoughts on what they had to say and your thoughts as to what is going to make this a successful
fall.
Well,
I talk to them all the time, and one of the things that I've learned over the years and being with other programs and stuff is the number one predictor of success is confidence. So that's, again, one of the reasons we're not going to be afraid to attack. You have to have confidence. But what gives a person confidence? Confidence is preparation. You're confident that you're going to do well today because I'm sure you spent a lot of time preparing for what you did. So what I tell them is we're going to embrace the process, and we're going to be as ready as we possibly can. There's not going to be anything that's going to happen to you on Friday night that we're not going to prepare you for. So don't be afraid to go out there and attack. And we want to be confident. I would be upset if they said, oh, we're going to go out and lose games. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we're going to win every game, but I'm going to tell you we're going to go out and fight every game.
Now, the last question is designed for Jacob. Clearly, you are a leader on the football team. I think you're a leader in hairstyle as well. Does anybody else in the locker room have the level of mullet that you have going right now?
Will Baxter, he's trying,
but you got him topped on that?
Yeah, he ain't never going to get there.
Marion, your thoughts about your teammates' locks he's got going back here?
It's the best one.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
You guys win the hairstyle category. There's no doubt about that. The two you combine. Coach, it's great to have you back as far as being a head coach is concerned. Best of luck in laying the foundation this year at Northwestern. Fellas, again, I know these last 3 years have not been a lot of fun from a football standpoint. Hope you have fun out there this fall. Guys, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having us.
Great to talk about the young men at Northwestern and their brand new head coach as well. And again, the folks at Coca-Cola of Kokomo are proud to hydrate the Tigers both on the field and in the classroom. Stay tuned. We'll talk about the Tipton Blue Devils when we come back as you're watching the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network.
The best video on the internet is not the guy of the last week or so. It's the surfing bulldog.
Expecto Patronum, like, Harry Potter. Everybody knows what I'm talking about at home.
I'm not
confused.
12.
You are one of the most disgusting people I've ever met.
You asked. You open up the door. Squeaky. Colts quarterback room is kind of like picking your favorite Ernest movie. They're all pretty bad. You have
Did you actually see any of those?
You have to go. I really was a big Ernest fan. Yeah.
No way.
Ernest fan. Ernest Goes to Camp was my favorite.
Welcome back on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special here on the ISC Sports Network. Time to talk a little Tipton football, and joining us again, a man that has spent, most of his life associated with Tipton High School football. It is Aaron Toll. First of all, I can't believe this is year 17 for you.
I know
as the football coach at Tipton.
You and me both. It's it's gone very quickly, but we've had a lot of good years, a lot of great memories for sure.
One of the things that has been obviously a constant theme in terms of talking with all of the coaches and even the players is the lack of things you're able to do last year before the season and comparing that to a more normal offseason this year. What has that been like for you as a coach?
I would say we take a little bit different approach to the summertime. Last year we were very lucky because I had a senior-laden team, 15, 16 starters back. So when we walked in July, we kind of picked up where things we were pretty advanced as opposed to a lot of other teams, luckily. But it is the thing that I've noticed that different is that it's really nice to check in and see the kids 3 or 4 times a week. We don't do a lot of competition days over the summer. I think we did 1 7-on-7. We don't do a lot of 11-on-11 scrimmages or the thud scrimmages. We kind of stay in house, but it's been very good to. I just feel more connected. We've got a great freshman group coming in this year, and I think a lot of that is because we've had contact with them ever since school got out all through June, and that will be good down the road for our program.
When you look back to last year, you were able to get a trophy, sectional champs, lost to a very good Lures team in the regional. Just your sense of pride as to what, in very tough circumstances, you're able to accomplish last year.
Well, you're exactly right. I would probably say last year of 16 seasons, last year it may be the most rewarding of all of them. You can talk about COVID and the restrictions we had there. You could arguably say our best player or our 1A player tore up his knee in Game 2 in Javen Lyons, and that put a whole different spin on things. And it was just, I just want to say this, it was a huge credit to our kids, our team, and to my coaching staff to overcome that. There's a lot of people that when you see your best player go down, people say, well, that would have been a good season, but, our kids and our team did not do that. Our coaching staff did not do that. And we found a way to overcome that and had a very good regular season, and then had some good wins in the sectional. And like I said, we're able to bring home our 10th sectional trophy. So it was a great fall.
Let's talk to a couple of young men again. Kipper Barnett to my right, Nate Powell at the end of the table. Kipper, just your thoughts as to how this off season has gone for you and your teammates.
I think we've stayed really focused on everything we've been doing. Everything is really looking good, well-rounded around everything, really. All senior line and some new skill guys, but I think we'll be just fine.
Nate, same question for you. How's the offseason gone for you?
Yeah, it's going pretty well. We just have to build depth because obviously we lost a lot of seniors, and that's what we've been doing, just working to get better.
Aaron, what's the role these two young men are going to play for your team this year?
Kipper is he's our starting left tackle. He was an all-state player last year. He plays left tackle on offense, and he's one of our defensive linemen on defense. Nate's a 2-year starter for us. he plays wide receiver. I think he had close to 500 yards receiving last year, something like that, and he also starts at safety for us. So both are seniors that are going to be two-way guys this year.
Kipper, Nate will ask you the same question. This is a Tipton program where you guys are expected to win every year. This is a program that has made multiple state championship appearances. I've been there with some of those for you. But just kind of your thoughts as to being kind of the next group up. And obviously you had a lot of playing time last year and did it very well. But carrying on the tradition of Tipton football, what does that mean for you?
Step up to the plate. Get ready to go. It's all about it.
Nate, same question for you.
Yeah, we just got big shoes to fill, and we obviously can do it.
What are the goals that you have set for this season, Kipper?
I want to go all-state again, maybe North-South all-state game. That's really big, but I also really want to see our team run another sectionals, maybe regionals, and really hopefully a state.
We would love to see you in the North-South All-Star game next year on the ISC Sports Network. Nate, what are the goals you have set for this year?
Obviously win another sectional and just see how deep of a run we can make into the tournament.
All right, sounds good. Coach, say what, you stay right here with us. We're going to switch players. We'll take a quick timeout. Back talking more Tipton football when we come back on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network. The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score! Part two of talking about Tipton football. Again, head coach Aaron Toll kind enough to join us. Nick Myers and Aiden Toll with us now. You know this guy?
I do. 18 years now, so it's going to puts a little different spin on things when it's one thing to have a son in the program, but when you have a senior son in the program, it's a totally different perspective. So really, really looking forward to it.
How many generations and how many Tolls have there been that have been a part of Tipton football?
Wow. Well, start with Dad, and there were he had two boys, Andy and I, and then I took over coaching and Aiden, and then I've got a sixth grader also that will be up sooner than we know it in Quinn. So quite a line.
You're getting to like 40-ish years of having a Toll, if not more, the program, correct?
Last year was the last 40 years Toll has been the head coach at Tipton.
That's amazing.
24 and 16. So.
All right, Aiden, you don't know anything else other than having a member of your family be the head coach or be around the Tipton program. What's it like getting to spend so much time with Dad during the football season?
I love it. It's honestly, people would say it's kind of bad sometimes. I mean, it's always bad when you have a bad practice or a bad game or something like that. That's never fun, but I love it. It's football most of the time. He treats me as a player on the field, treats me as a dad when I'm home. So I love it.
Same question to you. Is there ever a trouble kind of saying, okay, let's put this aside and let's be father and son, or is it really not a problem for you guys?
No, I think it's probably one of the best lessons that I learned from my dad was, my dad was always a very intense guy, and even more so than me for sure. But he could turn it on and off, and what happens at practice or what happens in a game stays there, and then we're family when we're at home. So that's a lesson that I hope I learned a long time ago. I hope I do a good job of that. That's certainly my intent, but it does make it more special when you've got one of your own out there.
All right, Nick, I don't want you to feel left out of the family reunion here. So next question comes your way. Just overall, your thoughts as to what are some of the goals and expectations you have for this coming season?
Well, definitely the goal is to go to state and win. I don't want to settle for anything less than a sectional title this year.
And that's kind of how high the bar has been set. Coach, the role that these two young men will play for your program this year.
Nick is he started on offense for us this year. We are probably going to move him. Well, I think we are going to move him. He was our right tackle last year. We're going to move him to center. he's been working at center all year. He'll also get some reps on the defensive line. We rotate a little bit more over there than we do on the offensive side. So he'll be a two-way lineman for us a lot of times, and then Aiden he'll be a receiver and slash safety defensive back for us. So,
Nick, your thoughts about that? Obviously, it is a completely different set of responsibilities, knowing you're touching the football on every play. Your thoughts about that?
I'm very excited. I'm open to learning new things, and I'm just ready to get playing. And yeah.
Aiden, to kind of carry on not just the family tradition, but the Tipton tradition. What does that mean to you?
It means everything. Family name's always been a part of the Tipton program, and I love it. It's just a different feeling.
Expectations, again, obviously for the season are always high. It's part of the great part of being in that tradition at Tipton. Kind of thoughts about how your competition shakes out in terms of the Hoosier Conference this year?
Well, I feel like I say the same thing every year. Our conference is going to be really, really good again. Just on our side, you have a Western team that's beaten us 2 years in a row. You have a Hamilton Heights team we beat on a last-second field goal last year. You've got a Cass team that's a great, great program. You've got Northwestern with a brand-new coach that's used to winning. So no games are going to be easy for sure. You've got to show up every single Friday, and that's not even talking about the other side. I know one of our crossover games is LCC, and I think they have 10 or 11 starters back on offense, and made a deep run in the tournament last year. Not to mention West Lafayette, Rensselaer. So I think like 8 of the 10 teams in our conference have played in a state championship game at some point in time, which is just crazy. I've never won a conference championship. I've never won one. I've never won the Hoosier. I think we've won one as soon as we got into the league, but so that would be a huge testament to our team. It would be very, very difficult to do. But our number one goal every single year is to win the sectional. And I guess probably something else that I learned from my dad is, you win that. You break the state tournament into 2 separate tournaments. You win the sectional, you're in the final 8. Yep. You're in another 8-team tournament. So, so that's our number one goal every year. And again, it's going to be extremely tough. I think we had 4 of the top 15 teams in 2A in our sectional last year, in Eastbrook and Eastern and LaPel and ourselves. And I'm sure those teams they're going to reload, just like we're trying to. And but that's the number one goal. I mean, if we can put ourselves in position to do either one or both of those things, it'd be another successful year.
We're going to talk about those Eastern Comets when we come back. Coach, thank you so much for the time. Fellas, thank you so much for the time. We're going to keep talking about Howard County and extended area high school football when we come back, as you're watching the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Welcome back here on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special on the ISC Sports Network. We are very happy joined by a program that has turned into one of the better ones in the area when it comes to small school football. That would be the Comets of Eastern High School. Now, head coach Josh Edwards is getting a little bit of R&R with the family before the season begins. So we're very happy joined by Tim Weeks, defensive coordinator for Eastern. Coach, thanks for being with us.
Appreciate it. Glad you have. Good to be here with a legend here in Indiana, and we really mean that. We appreciate all the stuff you do.
Oh, me? Oh, okay. Yeah. I was looking for somebody to come in and replace me. TJ Weeks and Elijah Buckley joining us as well, fellas. Thanks for the time.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. And Tim, let's start with this. Just, again, the turnaround that Josh and you and the rest of the staff put together at Eastern has been really fun to see over these last 3 or 4 years. What has been the key point or two in getting this program not just in the right direction, but to winning games and championships on a regular basis?
Well, first off, I mean, obviously, if a coach comes up to you and tells you that it was all him, he'd be a liar. It's the players.
Right.
We've had some really good players the last 3 to 4 years. Our graduating class, we lose 22 seniors, so that's a bunch of seniors, and obviously they did an outstanding job through their 4-year career. But what they did is they kind of established this mindset that obviously, that winning mindset, and that comes from our leader at the top, Coach Edwards. He does a tremendous job in the offseason getting kids ready as far as in the weight room. I think that aspect of kids getting stronger, they're getting more confident. And with that, it helps to increase their abilities. We take them to camps and things of that nature. And so football has really become a 365 thing out at Eastern, and that's made the big difference. But again, like I said, we've had some tremendous players. We got some tremendous players coming. So I think the program has established itself, like you said, it's one of those programs that's not only up and coming, but it's going to be here for a while.
So for TJ and Elijah, TJ, I'll start with you. Again, you just heard what Coach/Dad had to say about a 22-man senior class. You guys are part of the next wave. How do you kind of take the ball and run with it, so to speak?
Well, that senior class was really big for us, a crucial piece. But the way we were able to really step it up this offseason, we didn't get one last season very much, but this offseason, I felt like we've really come into our own, and not only have we had the coach-led offseason, but then we've had players doing things all week. Like I know this week, Elijah and I are leading a little get-together on the side since Coach Edwards is on vacation at the moment. And we've got that right after this, actually.
All right, so what are the workout drills your teammates? Nobody can see this live, so this will already happen. So you won't ruin a surprise. So what are you working on today?
Oh, we're running some distance sprints for sure. We're running some 300s, really getting into
it's
it.
It's a
some
nice
dashers.
hot day.
Oh, yeah. Get your sweat on.
Pads off or pads on for this?
No pads today.
Right, 95-degree heat's
Yeah.
good enough. Elijah, same question for you. Again, you're a tough act to follow. How do you kind of take the torch and go from there?
Yeah, I think that just our freshmen and sophomores coming in, they really got to step up this year with Scout O, Scout D, and just getting us prepared for the weeks to try and get a win.
When you're trying to recover from losing such a talented senior class, but you've had now this 3 or 4 year period of success, what has that done for the numbers in your program?
Oh, it's helped tremendously. I mean, one of the things, and I would have to see numbers, but I would probably argue that right now, as far as a roster, we probably have one of the bigger rosters in Howard County, and that's including, I would say probably Kokomo, just because, kids are, we're probably going to be, in the low to mid 50s, and nowadays, that's pretty high numbers. I don't care if you're a 6A or whatever. Right. That's pretty big numbers. And so, with winning, obviously it breeds a lot of excitement. We also have one of those classes will be our sophomore class, another one of those big classes like we had the senior class just graduated. So like I said, like you said, obviously the excitement's good, and obviously people are fired up in Greentown, and that makes a difference. Kids want to be part of something that's pretty special.
All right, we'll talk about the role that these two young men are going to play for your team this year.
Well, let me talk about Elijah first. Elijah's going to obviously work a lot with me hand in hand. He's my inside linebacker. He's kind of the quarterback on the field for the team. He is a tremendously strong kid. If you can look at him, you can see he does a great job in the weight room. He has a nose for the football. He likes to hit. He likes to kind of set the tone for the other guys. He just does a great job of leading, as a junior. Probably, I know we haven't voted yet, but I would imagine he's probably going to be one of our captains as a junior, so that speaks volumes for him. And he's just a good kid that obviously is a smart kid, like a lot of our kids out at Eastern. And then obviously that kid next to you, that I've known him since the day he was born. He's pretty special to me. But one of the things that, I always tell him, and I say, when we're on the football field, I'm not Dad, I'm your coach. And he knows that. And he doesn't call me Dad, he calls me Coach. And coaches know this, and Coach Toll probably said the same thing. When you're coaching your own kid, you're probably harder on them because you have to be. I mean, you kind of set the precedent for what you expect. But TJ is going to be, like Elijah, two-way starter. I didn't mention Elijah will be our starting center. TJ will start at wideout for us, start at our cornerback position. And so those two guys are really smart, and it just does a tremendous job. And they have some experience playing with those 22 guys. Elijah played as a sophomore with that group, which is great, and then TJ played as a junior. So they got some quality playing time last year, and so we look for big things for both of them.
TJ, same question goes to you. Playing for Dad, what's that like?
Well, I mean, running a little extra sprints for the dad on the side. That kind of gets to you. But, no, he's always pushed me to my limits and always made me a better player. I certainly have to credit my route running and catching abilities to him because we work on him all the time.
What's the goals you have set for this year, TJ?
Well, I think it's pretty simple. You know, we've had some really good streaks, you know, undefeated seasons. But I think this year that the title for sectional champs is what we're going for.
Elijah, same question for you.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to get conference champs, try to get sectional champs, see how far we can go this year.
And Coach, same question for you. What's some of the goals that you and the guys are setting, and Coach Edwards for the upcoming year?
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the things that we've done in the past 2 years is we won our conference, and that was the first time that we've done that in our conference. And so we've reached that plateau. And I know Josh has aspirations, and he's kind of set his program where he wants to take it to the next level. And you know, one of the ways that you know you've arrived is to get that sectional championship. You know, obviously we're in a tough sectional. You know, we obviously Eastbrook's probably the king of that sectional. They're tough year in and year out, but also you got Tipton. Obviously, Lapel is one of those teams. So there's 4 pretty good teams in there, but I think one of those things that if we can get through and win a sectional, I think obviously you can say that the Eastern Comet program has arrived.
I think the program's arrived.
Yes,
That's about to take it to the next level. Tim, thank you so
Thank you,
much for the
buddy.
time. TJ and Elijah, thank you very much, guys. Best of luck this year.
Appreciate it.
And again, thanks to the folks at Coca-Cola of Kokomo. They are proud to keep the Comets hydrated both in the classroom and on the gridiron as well. Coca-Cola of Kokomo has been your local bottler since 1907. Back with more in a moment as you're watching the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network. McCulligan time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is caught.
There you
go.
go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
Wrestler!
Wrestler!
Whoa! Talk about the North Miami Warriors from the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special. And joining us as he has in the program for each of the last 2 years, it's Joe Grant, the head coach at North Miami. Coach, it is good to see you. How you doing?
You too. Thank you for having us. I'm doing well.
Obviously, last year was so strange. It was so different. What's it like to have the more usual off-season program this year?
It's been nice. You know, last year with June, we really didn't get a month of June at all. You know, not your normal weight room, not your normal summer. So the consistency with the athletes on a weekly basis, you know, we try not to monopolize our kids this summer. At North Miami with, you know, a smaller grade, smaller pool of boys to choose from, they're all multi-sport athletes,
right.
2-3 sport athletes. So we try not to monopolize their summer. So, but even getting them like one time a week or a little bit at the end of June, leading into July, going a little heavier, that consistency has been great for us to see strides throughout the summer.
I know last year 1-9, not what you wanted to be from a record standpoint, but where do you feel you can kind of learn and grow from that experience and be better this year?
Yeah, so, you know, last year we were a team with not a lot of seniors. You know, and this year we don't have a lot of seniors. Our 3 are going to be joining you here shortly. But one thing about, like, this group's been with us, these 3 guys, and the consistency of them being, like, program guys for us. And last year we had that too, but we were able to develop those younger guys. So by week 9 and 10, we were starting 9 sophomores last year. Well, so now there's 9 juniors.
Right.
So, those kind of things leading into this year with the small group of seniors, but the leadership we have, and we feel like we're going to be able to do things on the offensive side of the ball, defensively as well, to not be single lane. You know, last year we had a really nice ball player going to play at Ball State this year, Darian Hanley. You know, now rather than him be the go-to guy, and everybody knows he's the dude getting the ball, you know what I'm saying? So we're able to spread things out a little bit more this year and do our system as we want to. And our guys have really gelled into that and came into new rules, so it's been great.
All right, so we're going to talk to all of your 3 seniors, apparently, on the broadcast coming up next segment. So tell me about the guys we're about to meet.
So you got Trevor Simons. Trevor's 4-year player for us at the high school level. And last year was a 2-way starter. Seth was a 2-way starter. Ross was a 2-way starter. All these guys played last year.
Yeah.
And last year they kind of were made to grow up, if you
Right.
will, so to speak. And everybody grew from last year in the sense of the 1-9 is not where we wanted to be, but I think I learned a lot about myself. I hope they learned a lot. And it's not all about wins and losses, but knowing that the little things matter, sticking together matters. And I think these three really understand that because, it's easy to do things like when the going gets tough just to not do it.
Sure.
And so these guys consistently for 4 years in the weight room, being multi-sport athletes, being coachable, being all their other coaches talk about, their program guys, their North Miami guys. So that's what we get from this group, and that's what we're excited because they leak that down to everybody else.
From an overall numbers standpoint, what are you looking at in terms of the program this year?
So we're on the low end. So this is my 5th year back at North Miami. My first year back, we had 34 guys, and we're right at that 33, 34 mark right now.
Yep.
And we'll see August 2nd, right? But at the end of the day, we're gonna play 2 schedules. We're proud of. We're one of the only 1A schools in our conference and around that keeps the JV schedule all year long and things like that. So we're going to put our product out there. We're going to be proud of what they do. Our guys are going to play hard, and we're going to see the results change. So that's known, and our guys believe that as well. So.
Joe, what's going to make this a good year for you? What's some of the goals you've set?
The consistency, though. So the effort, the attitude, the mindset changing. It's not one guy. It's not. It is not just about what are my yards, what are my stats. It is about us as a team getting better. And do we play with heart? Do we play with effort? Do we play with a relentless motor? Those kind of things are going to be what we look at. And as coaches too, we need to not focus so much on the negative. Focus on the positive. Be critical of ourselves, but take those things, being critical, getting better every single day. That's what's going to make us successful.
Always enjoy the conversation, Coach. Thanks for the time,
Appreciate
as always.
It. Thank you.
Joe Grant, the head coach at North Miami. His 3-man senior class will join us next as you're watching the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Oh my God! We are ripping fast today. And how hard can it be, right? These are now selling for about $3,500. So we're back to our old ways of pulling rocks.
Act like idiots on camera, open cards, and talk about the hobby.
Did you talk about the North Miami Warriors here on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special on the ISC Sports Network? They have a 3-man senior class this year, so everybody got to make the show. To my left, it is Trevor Simons. To my right, it is Seth Ireland and Ross Gosnell. And considering the fact they're wearing 75 and 76, I'm assuming this is like 40% of the offensive line that I am talking to. Trevor, we'll start with you. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's it like being part of having the entirety of your senior football team here with us on the show today?
I mean, I love having more guys out, but I'll roll with the ones I got. I love them.
Good way to put it. Seth, same question for you. Knowing that it's just the 3 of you guys that are kind of the senior leaders on this team, what does that mean to you?
I mean, we've all been pretty close throughout the years. It's been us 4 mainly. Some guys have come and gone, but it's always been us 3 here through all 4 years.
And Ross, same thing for you.
It's been a lot of fun. I love these guys. That's about it.
That's a good way to put it. That's right there. All right. Seth, I'll start for you up for this. Obviously, it wasn't a lot of fun to go 1-9 last year. What are the lessons you take from last year and apply to this season?
Even if we have a bad game, bad moment, we know we can't get down. Even if we start off with a lost first game, we got to keep coming back. Just staying positive, really. That's the biggest takeaway I can think of.
Same thing for you, Ross.
Basically what Seth said, we don't always need to be down the dumps after every loss, every game. We just need to keep on moving on each week.
And go from there?
And go from there.
Sounds good. Trevor, all right, so when there's so few of you guys in the senior class, how much do you have to kind of be focused on the leadership example you're setting for the guys that are younger than you?
Yeah. We have a lot of juniors coming up that are good leaders too. They help us out, but we do what we can, and I think we do a pretty good job of it.
Ross, what are some of the goals that you guys have set for this year? What's going to make this a good fall for you?
To win more games than last year.
No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Seth, same question for you.
Kind of piggybacking off what he said, I think I'd like to have 5, 6, 7 wins this season, be a contender when it comes to sectional time, and really to kind of change the culture and set a good example for the guys under us. Like he said, we got a big junior class coming up, and I'd like to show those guys, when it's their time to run the team, how to be good leaders. Trevor,
what's going to make this a good fall for you?
We have got a lot more of a summer than the past year, obviously, because of COVID. So we've done some scrimmages and got some more practice in, and I think we'll blend together as the season goes out.
Sounds good. Fellas, thank you very much for the time. Great job, and best of luck the rest of the season. In our 3-man senior class from North Miami, again, the folks from Coca-Cola of Kokomo are very proud to keep the Warriors hydrated both on the field and in the classroom. Coca-Cola of Kokomo has been your local bottler since 1907. We're going to talk about the Western Panthers when we come back as you're watching on the ISC Sports Network.
You can't get enough of them.
You can't get enough of us. Good one, J-Man.
This is the worst scandal. This might
This
even
is
be
worse than steroid. Not so fast.
Are you going to watch the XFL?
I'll probably watch a little bit of it.
You want to go through and pick some games?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I really don't.
Welcome back on the ISC Sports Network. Thank you so much to the good folks, the Kokomo Downtown YMCA here on Union Street, being our host for the 3rd annual Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special. My name is Greg Rakestraw. Now time to talk about the Western Panthers. Their head coach and Alex Stewart is joining us, joined by players Dylan Bryan and Rhett Berryman as well. Coach, we'll start with you. Always good to see you. And again, just kind of your thoughts on it being back. You played last year, but it was so different. This feels a lot more like it was before. What's this offseason been like for you?
We've had a great offseason. We've got a lot of kids that have bought in the summer and been there all the time. And, we deal with a lot of multi-sport participation at Western, which is great. So we have some kids that are in and out with travel baseball and kids that are in and out with, basketball and other athletic events. We had a kid go to the Fargo Nationals last week for wrestling. So we deal with that a lot in the summertime, but it has been nice to be in there full force with all the kids in the weight room at one time instead of kind of last year we had to split them up in segments. And I think it's been really good for our team and bonding. And it's just been nice to be back to the old way and doing it, kids being there all the time and working with them all summer.
4 consecutive winning seasons, so clearly you're doing a lot of things right at Western. But you referenced a couple of programs like wrestling and baseball that have this wonderful established tradition. How do you go about trying to kind of build your own tradition from a football standpoint at Western?
Well, that's what we're working towards. And, when I took over, that first group of seniors I had won 8 games in their previous 3 years of high school, and we were able to win 7 games that first year. And we've kind of been able to build off of that. And, we haven't had the tournament success that we've hoped for the last few years, but I do think we're building in the right direction. We have youth camp this week, and we had 150 kids or so out there last night at youth camp. And, we're trying to build it from the ground up. We've got great participation in the middle school. And, our kids, they start running our offense and defense in middle school. And, so the group of seniors I have now, they've been running this offense since they were in 8th grade. And, I think we're getting there. But, Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes a long time to build a tradition like some of the programs we've got in our area and in our conference. So, we're working towards getting there, and we're building towards it.
This is the 2nd year you guys get to play Kokomo, and it was great that you played them, and from your standpoint, great that you beat them. But now you get to have a lot more fans, more than just moms and dads that get to come watch the game on August 20th. What's that night going to mean for your program?
It's going to be a really big night. Like you referenced, there's going to be a big crowd. It's the first game of the season, and it's a rivalry game. And this is only the 2nd time Kokomo and Western have played in football, but they've played in a lot of other sports, right. And it's just a rivalry. And it's going to be a special night for Kokomo and Western. Brett Colby and Ron Colby are both going into the Hall of Fame, and Ron is going in as a Western Panther. So Coach Plummer is going to come back for that game, and there's going to be a lot of excitement surrounding that game. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of old-time Panthers that are back to see Coach Plummer and to see Ron Colby be honored. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of the Kokomo Wildcats that are doing the same.
You play in such a great league, you don't have to really play that tough of a non-conference schedule if you don't want to. Yet I'm looking at your first 3 games. You don't exactly ease into things with having at Kokomo and then home to a team that's won 3 consecutive state championships in Webo, West Lafayette. Shane Fry's team is always good. This is a rugged schedule you guys play, but you're part of a great sectional. It's kind of a great build-up for you and your guys.
Absolutely. Kokomo, Webo, West Lafayette, they're 3 great programs to kick off the season. And we've kind of built our summer around knowing that we have those 3 games to open up and knowing that we've got a tough sectional. If we hope to win it, we're going to have to play some really good teams in the summertime. So we looked at the Gridiron magazine that came out, and of the top 5 in 5A, or of the top 10 in 5A, I think we played 5 of them this summer. So we played against some really good competition this summer, a couple 6A programs, a couple of the best, 4 and 5A programs in the state. And I think it's going to help us going into the season, at least to – we've seen a lot of talented players this summer, and it's not going to be a shock to us when we see some talented players in late August, early September.
Tell me about the role that these 2 young men are going to play for your team this year.
Well, Dylan's a returning starter for us. Dylan played wide receiver and DB last year. His brother was our starting quarterback, and his brother's moved on to go play quarterback at Wabash College. And Dylan's going to slide into that role for us, so he's going to take over, fill his brother's shoes, so to speak, and play quarterback for us and still be a member of our secondary. Rhett Berryman is a returning starter on the offensive and defensive line, and he's going to play both ways for us.
Very good. All right, Dylan, let's talk about that. So, carrying on the family tradition, how do you what's that move been like going from wide receiver to quarterback?
It's been difficult because I haven't played quarterback in years. I played when I was 4th through 6th grade and kind of got moved around when I was in middle school and freshman year and didn't play in my sophomore year. But I mean, all these scrimmages we've been going to has been real helpful and getting my footwork and everything back to where it needs to be and getting me ready for the season. It's been real good.
Have you gotten more brotherly advice or almost brotherly teasing on the subject to this point?
Mostly teasing.
But I'm sure he's a pretty good resource to go back to when needed, correct?
Yeah.
All right, Rhett, again, your dad part of the administration for a long time at Western High School, so you literally have grown up around this athletic program. What's it like to now be playing as a senior?
Feels pretty good, pretty great. Just out here playing, going 100%, balls to the wall, 24/7. It's kind of.
You have a preference in terms of offensive or defensive line, or because you played both for so long, is it just kind of they're both equal to you?
This year's going to be really like the first year I've really going to be playing a whole lot of defense, but I'd say I like defense better. You get to tackle people. So,
I was going to say, what you do as an offensive lineman, no bueno. 10 yards going the other way. So keep the tackling of the defensive side of the ball. One of the things that your coach talked about was the fact that you played a lot of larger schools in terms of kind of your off-season 7-on-7 workouts, et cetera. How has that benefited you guys?
It's given us looks that teams will see in our sectionals, and these bigger teams will play on our schedule. And it's showing us the holes that we need to fill because we lost such key players last year, and it's given the younger guys that are filling these big holes experience and really good experience from these bigger teams.
Rhett, we talked about with Coach the fact that you got Kokomo on the schedule and you knocked them off when you played them last year in week number 1. What was it like having those bragging rights for an entire year?
It was great. Those guys kind of talk a little bit, but it's fun to kind of back it up, be like, we kicked your butt on the field, so.
You've had those brag. I know you want to have them again another year as well, with that game coming up about 3 weeks or so ago. You heard me talking about, obviously, the caliber of schedule that you play, and knowing names like Shatard, Roncalli could be awaiting in terms of the postseason. Just your thoughts on the caliber of competition you guys will face this year.
We'll play really good teams, so just the new teams that we play on our schedule, like West Lafayette and Webo and Kokomo, are going to be good getting us prepared for sectionals.
Rhett, what's going to make this a good season for you guys?
Gonna go out hopefully, or like try to win all of our games, go into sectionals.
You play the game to win the game, right?
Yep.
Just win every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I like that plan. That sounds like a good idea. Guys, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on your success over the last few years, and best of luck this season.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Again, Alex Stewart, the head coach of the Western Panthers, Dylan Bryan and Rhett Berryman joining us as well from the Panther football team. And the folks at Coca-Cola of Kokomo, proud to keep the Panthers hydrated both in the classroom and on the field. They've been serving the Kokomo and Howard County area and beyond since 1907. Let's talk about those guys that have the wings on their helmet. Head coach Adam Berry of Pioneer joins us next as you are watching the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Shot at the buzzer. She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot!
Hello! Did it again. Hello! Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello! There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow. This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
Welcome back here on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special. I've had the pleasure of having the conversation we're about to have now before state championships multiple times over the years. The very successful coach of the Pioneer Panthers, it is Adam Berry. Always good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
Thanks. Great. Thanks for having us.
All right, you have had to go through this many times over a brief career at Pioneer, thinking, okay, how do I replace the last batch of stars that have come through here? So you and I have had this conversation about Jack Kaiser before. Now we're talking about the Llewellyn twins and the other seniors that are around them. How do you kind of move on to the next wave of young men that have earned those wings on their helmets?
Like I said, we've been through this a time or two, and you know, our players embrace that. You know, they take the mindset. You know, we can be just as good as the previous team, and our current seniors. You know, they've had some success. They've seen the work that Jack and the twins and all those guys put in, and they're wanting to try to accomplish the same things. You know, you have Logan Smith, Brock Robinson, who've had a lot of time on the field, and you know, they're just continuing to carry on that tradition.
When I look back at last year, one of the things that, again, we don't think will happen this year, knock on what we hope, is having games get canceled on Tuesday or Wednesday, and you go into scramble mode and go try to see them you can play on Friday. You took advantage of that opportunity, I thought, better than anybody else did. 1A enrollment, you're playing in 2A, and you're playing Chesterton and New Haven in weeks 2 or 3 of the season. What did that do for your program to not just compete with those guys, but get a victory over a 6A school last year in week 2?
You're right, and credit to our athletic director, John Bingaman. It was about this time last year he texted me or called me about the potential of playing Chesterton. And, you know, we said, let's go for it.
Yeah.
You know, we may never have an opportunity again to play a 6A school. So let's do it. And so our mindset going into it was, let's play our game. You know, all the pressure's on them. They're coming down to a 1A school playing up in 2A. All the pressure's on them. Let's play our game. And, you know, we played really well. Took advantage of a couple of Chesterton mistakes and made the huge plays when we needed to, but I think that showed our players that they can truly compete with multiple teams around the state, and you know, that just gave those guys a ton of momentum. And then coming back and playing a team like New Haven, you know, our guys were beat up. We had most of our guys playing 3 phases of the game,
right?
And so they didn't have much time to recover. And then you know, another physical team. You know, Ezra and Adai were both banged up, limited roles that game, but had a big lead going into the 4th. But, you know, they came away and made the big plays that we did the previous week. But we told the guys after the game that loss, I think, will prepare them going forward with the 2A tournament. And I think those 2 weeks really prepared us well through that tough sectional and then going up against Andrean in the regionals.
Yeah, Andrean, and then obviously a very good Lures team. And I know you were certainly hoping that game would turn out differently, a very competitive loss. But again, you had that build-up to know exactly kind of what was coming in those games against Andran and Lures. And I guess just the level of pride that you have knowing that you have been every bit as competitive in the 2A tournament as the Panthers were in the 1A tournament for so many years.
You're right. And, people always ask me, well, is it unfair that you guys had to play in 2A? And it's like, no, I don't think it is. It means if you're playing up, that shows that you had some success the previous years. And once again, our guys embrace it. They had a lot of firsts. First team to beat a 6A school, not just to play a 6A school, but to beat a 6A school. The first Pioneer team to win a sectional, first Pioneer team to win a regional, and we're a couple plays away from making it down to state. And so, obviously the season didn't end like we wanted to last year, but, 10 years, 20 years down the road, that team will be remembered around the community. And
you have found another opportunity to play up in a non-conference week. You're going to play the all-new Hammond Central High School. That is the merger, folks, of Hammond, Gavitt, and Clark, as Hammond goes from 4 high schools to 2. So you now have a 5A school coming to play you in week number 5. Tell us about that.
Yeah, once again, credit to Mr. Bingman. And, that week 5, very, very few teams had that week open. And, Indy Addicts decided they're going to face a team that's a little bit closer.
Sure.
And, Hammond just happened to become available. And it was one of those where the 2 ADs got together and thought it'd be good for both schools. And I think it'll be a very competitive game, and hopefully we can keep them on the schedule for years to come.
Sounds good. All right, so tell me about this senior class you have coming up this year, Coach.
Yeah, once again, a lot of those seniors have had a lot of time on the field. Brock Robinson, he stepped into a big fullback role for us, and he was a 1,000-yard rusher for us, and that's with having Ezra and Adai beside him. And so he had an unfortunate collarbone injury in the sectional championship game that cost him the rest of his season. So I know he's really looking forward to his senior season and kind of being that focal point of the team and to really see what he can do. And then, Logan Smith, he's just gotten better each and every year. He's a workhorse in the weight room, and it shows. He's from his freshman year to senior year, he's probably gained about 35, 40 pounds of muscle. And, he's just going to be that role for us at the linebacker and tight end role. Derek Legrand, I think in sophomore and junior season, he's had about 50 tackles for loss combined. And so, just seeing what he can do as a senior and, just the rest of the guys. Like I said, they're excited to see what they can do finally being seniors. Once again, they hear it, well, Ezra and Adai, Mason, Tyler, all those guys are gone. So are you guys going to be able to do it? And I keep using this, but they embrace that challenge, and they're excited to get the season rolling.
I know that, again, no program wanted to go through what anybody did last year in terms of not having the off-season workouts, not being together. But because you guys have such a uniform system all the way up from the youth levels to you, I think you were better prepared than most to adapt to the changes you were dealt. That being said, you've had the guys back now for the summer. What's that been like for you?
Up and down, to be honest with you, with the summer. A lot of guys, having jobs and things like that. But, we came off of a summer scrimmage this past week at Logansport, and, we played really well. And so we're on another Pioneer Dead Week this week. And so we don't even have weights, conditioning, no football activities. They just have this week off going up into first official practice. But ending the summer with that scrimmage at Logansport, I think gives us a lot of momentum going into August.
What's going to make this a good fall for you and the Panthers?
A lot of the guys that basically lost a JV season last year, so they didn't play a single game last year, just catching them up to speed now that they're varsity players, and just having them understand their role and knowing that if they do their job, we can be successful. And, they don't always have to be the superstar, and just that team unity and working together.
Sounds good. Adam, congratulations on the success at this point, and best luck and have another great fall in Royal Center.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Adam Barry, again, head coach of the Pioneer Panthers, and again, our friends at Coca-Cola of Kokomo, proud to support the Panthers both on the gridiron and in the classroom. Coca-Cola of Kokomo, your local bottler since 1907. Back with more in a moment as you're watching on the ISC Sports Network.
Brewer jams it home. That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half.
Throw it up for Tillman.
Oh, my goodness.
122.60 for Penn.
What a swim.
6 of them.
Welcome back on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special here on the ISC Sports Network. Romeson, St. Louis. I want to say San Luis, but I know we have Americanized the name over the years. Coach St. Louis joining us here. Coach, it's good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
Doing well.
Obviously, you have done great work with Peru in your 3 years there, going from a winless season to 6-6 to 7-2 last year. Just your thoughts on the progression the Tigers have made over these last 3 years?
Man, it's a privilege to get the opportunity to coach them. Really, it's our kids. They work hard. They worked hard my first year there. We were just young. We were inexperienced, and I had too much change. There was a lot of change there, but they bought in. They listened to what we had to do. We have great coaches who push them. We have great parents who support what we're trying to do with the kids. But the kids work hard, and they've earned everything.
7-2 last year, and given all the COVID struggles, that's nothing to sneeze at. You got to finish your season with a win, but not in the way you had hoped for.
No.
You did not get to play in the postseason. Have you gotten over that yet? Will you ever get over that?
That's a good question. I'm trying to get over it.
Yeah.
You know what? And I told the kids it was hard and it was painful because they've worked so hard, and we really wanted to see what we can do in the postseason. I felt good about our team and our ability to compete and get to the sectional championship again. But it is what it is. And I did tell them, though, not a lot of teams win their last game of the season. We were fortunate to be one of them. Unfortunately, we didn't get a ring or anything, but we're working towards that.
I know how the coaching mindset works. My guess is that some sort of phrase like unfinished business has been referenced a few times since then, right?
It means something. That's actually you know how it works. See, you already got me. That's actually our motto this year. We got some unfinished business to take care of because, again, we had some goals in mind, and we were unable to get those completed. So we're going after it again.
Tell me about your senior class. And these are all kids that now have been with you for all 4 years.
Yeah.
I know that's a special group.
It is.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so this is my group right here that they came in as freshmen with me. And right now we were at consistently we're about 5 players, but I think we might get a few more.
Okay.
We got some new kids that joining the program, so we'll see where we end up at. But we got a good group of kids. They worked hard, and again, they and all of these seniors they started as freshmen. So they're a good group, and I'm excited for them. Our quarterback coming back, he started last year, Levi Strong. Our running back started last year. He's coming back. That's Braden Masters. We have our top receiver. He's banged up a little bit right now, so we haven't really done anything. Matt Ross, we haven't really done anything with him in the summer, just trying to keep him healthy. But he's coming back. So we got some new kids, and we got a Noah Beam. He's from actually North Miami. He transferred in with his brother. So I'm excited to see what he can do. We have another senior, Chase Seifert. He's our lone starting lineman, and he's coming back as starting inside linebacker for us as well. And right now, so we got a good group, hardworking group. Cameron Baber, he played for us a few years, and he'll be coming back as a senior, and we'll see about some more, see if they come out. So.
All right, so with that, there is almost 3 different seasons in terms of Peru football.
Yeah.
There's TRC, as in Three Rivers Conference. There's the postseason. And there is also the single longest-standing rivalry game in Indiana high school
That's
football.
its own season.
And that is its own season. And that is Logansport coming up in week number 1.
Yeah.
Just be able to say, hey, you're a part of Indiana football history.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
It's special. It's special. And again, to be able to coach in a game like that is a big deal, but also to coach against a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty big deal. And I know they'll be ready. I know they got a good group. Coaches them really well. They got a good program there. I always say, man, whoever made this schedule, They didn't like me, right? I would like to get a few really easy games up and build our confidence up, but no, right away we come competing against a really good program. So I'm excited to compete against them, give us all we got. We're going to try to keep the trophy on our side.
And in the TRC, you've got an interesting mix of kind of 1A, 2A, and 3A schools. It's one of the small guys. It's been one of the better teams as of late in terms of Southwood. I know they're well down the road for it. Just kind of thoughts about how the conference shakes out for you this year.
So I'll tell you a quick story. One of the I got humbled really quickly. So my first year, I looked at the schedule, and I know we're 3A, and I'm like, oh, 1A. Oh, this is not. We're going to handle business, and I just forgot well, we're 3A, but we don't have 3A kids right now. We don't have the size, and those 1A schools really welcomed me to TRC quickly. So we got a really good conference. I think highly competitive. I really like our competition. I feel good at where we're at. Again, we got some holes that we got to fill, but I think we got a shot to take it. And we were close last year, but we couldn't get a few wins that we needed to. But I feel like we got a good shot to compete for a conference title.
Obviously, conference title, sectional championship. Those are a couple of big goals for your team, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's where they're striving for right now. Hopefully get to regionals and on.
How do you then, I guess the process will play itself over 9 weeks, 12 weeks, et cetera. But what are the steps that you got to take early in the year to make sure you're on that right path?
Hey, it's 1-0. It's 1-0, right? And that's what I try to tell them. And I'm not talking 1-0 on Fridays. I'm talking 1-0 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's every day we try to do the best we can and try to beat what we did yesterday, get better every day. And the toughest thing right now we're facing is we're young in some areas. We got some experience, right? I have some seniors who started for 4 years for me. So they're going to be real good. They're prepared. They're ready. But then we got sophomores. We got a lot of sophomores starting. We got a freshman potentially started. So we got some work to do, but I feel confident that from what I've seen from when we first started in June to where we're at right now, we've developed, we've gotten better, and I expect that to be the same during the season. That we'll probably start off slow, but we're going to get better each week.
He has improved the win total each and every year.
We're trying.
So look for 8 or more
We're
from
trying.
the guys from Peru to keep that trend going. Romas in St. Louis joining us, Coach. As always, a pleasure, and best of luck this season.
Appreciate it.
Again, they open up with their rival for centuries, literally, Logansport, who they'll take on August the 20th. Back to wrap it up next. You're watching the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network.
The best video on the internet is not the guy of the last week or so. It's the surfing bulldog.
Expecto Patronum, like, Harry Potter. Everybody knows what I'm talking about at home.
I'm not
confused.
12.
You are one of the most disgusting people I've ever met.
You asked. You open up the door. Squeaky. Colts quarterback room is kind of like picking your favorite Ernest movie. They're all pretty bad. You have
Did you actually see any of those?
You have to go. I really was a big Ernest. Yeah.
No
a big
way.
Ernest fan. Ernest Goes to Camp was my favorite.
One more time, thanks to the schools that were a part of this. Tri-Central, Tipton, Kokomo, Northwestern, Western, Eastern. Thanks to Pioneer, Lewis Cass, Peru, and North Miami. Thank you so much to Brandon Bishop for his support of everything that we do at the ISC Sports Network through our friends at Coca-Cola of Kokomo. Thank you to the downtown YMCA as well. Thanks to the guys behind the scenes in terms of Jake Morris, Jordan Shue, Derek Schultz, and production assistance provided even by Mia Rakestraw on the program as well. My name is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck to all of these teams when they open up their seasons on August the 20th. You have been watching the 3rd annual Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Shot at the buzzer. Got it! She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot!
Brady,
Hello!
did it again.
Hello!
Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello! There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow. This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
Oh my God. We are ripping fast today. And how hard can it be, right? These are now selling for about $3,500. So we're back to our old ways of pulling rocks.
Act like idiots on camera, open cards, and talk about the hobby.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Throw it up for Tillman.
Whoa. My goodness.
122.60 for Penn.
What a swim!
Six of them.